How can we help you, officer?
Dick Jones is wanted for murder. My program will not allow me to act against an officer of this company.
Anybody tries to stop me, the old geezer gets it. Dick, you're fired!
Thank you.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.
From the world-famous Blackbird Studios, it's the Rave X podcast. And now, Rave X.
Oh, hey now, kids. Thanks for tuning into the show, Rave X podcast, episode 107, Replaced. I'm your host, LeVar Burton. Now, of course, that little clip you heard was from the Paul Verhoeven classic, RoboCop, where RoboCop can't do his job unless someone gets fired. Now, today's show is going to be about actors in movies who are either fired last minute or replaced. It happens a lot. It happens more than you know. And the way I came up with this idea was I was walking past an old building in Harvard Square that I used to work at, and your boy Rave X was fired for no reason. It's a long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it, but it was a great gig, and I got thrown under the bus and fired. And I thought, let me talk about some actors from different movie roles who also got fired or replaced for no reason. And with that being said, kids, we got a great show for you today. Let's dive in. First of all, how is everyone doing? You guys doing good? Everyone doing okay? It is a lazy Sunday here. It's all gray outside here at the world-famous Blackbird Studios. And I'm doing okay, though. I got my iced coffee, got my little vape pen. Haven't touched a cigarette in 3.5 years. And I hope you're doing okay as well. It's been a while since we met up for a podcast, kids. And let me just give myself a little quick correction. At the top of the show, I said some people who get fired for no reason. And sometimes there is a reason. Movies are complicated. It is amazing that any movie ever actually gets made. There's so many moving parts. And sometimes actors are just hard to deal with. And they say, all right, look, we don't want you back for the next one. Or the reason could be the actor doesn't have time for the sequel. There's so many reasons why your favorite actor doesn't come back for the next one. And we're going to go over that here. Rave X Podcast, episode 107, Replaced. Let's start off here at the top of the list. We're going to go to 2005, to a movie that was, definitely one of my favorite movies, but not my all-time favorite movies. I'm talking about Batman Begins. Katie Holmes played Rachel Dawes. Remember that? She was like Bruce Wayne's little childhood girlfriend. She did not come back for The Dark Knight, and it was kind of weird. They recasted her with Maggie Gyllenhaal, and a lot of people was wondering, like, why wouldn't she come back for a Batman movie? You don't like money, woman? The funny thing is, Katie Holmes, she should probably fire her agent. She wanted to do this movie with, like, Queen Latifah and Diane Keaton called Mad Money or Crazy Money, where, like, 3 women rob a bank. This movie flopped so hard. It has a 22% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and Katie Holmes gave up that Dark Knight money to go do this movie with Queen Latifah. And the thing is, as an actor, anytime you do one movie, like let's say you do Thor Part 1, and then Natalie Portman comes back for Thor Part 2, they always boost up your salary. Your salary goes up every time you come back for a role. So I don't know what money they were giving her, but God, I didn't see the movie Mad Money. I try to not watch Queen Latifah movies. But anyway, 2005, Batman Begins. Katie Holmes did not come back for the 2008 classic The Dark Knight, and she was replaced with Maggie Gyllenhaal, who, from the right angle with the right lighting is actually kind of attractive. No, I shouldn't say that. That was bad. But anyway, yeah, that's what happened. Katie Holmes replaced with Maggie Gyllenhaal because she wanted to go make a movie with Queen Latifah. Hi! Anyway, I think that was a bad choice, but let's move on. And hey, speaking of RoboCop, you guys know RoboCop, one of the greatest movies ever made. Peter Weller, starting RoboCop 1, RoboCop 2, didn't come back for like 3. I don't know if they made a RoboCop 4. There was a TV show like RoboCop Prime Directive. But Peter Weller did not come back for anything after Part 2. And I'll tell you why. It wasn't money. It was the suit. He said that suit was so hot and so suffocating. You guys know what that RoboCop suit looks like, right? How much do you think that suit weighs? Do you want to know? That suit weighs between 50 and 80 pounds. If he's wearing the full suit, it's like 80 pounds. But a lot of times, when you see RoboCop just in the cop car, he's only wearing the top part of the suit. Or if it's him just walking into a room, you'll notice the camera is from the waist up, so he doesn't have to wear the whole suit. The thing was hot, sweaty. He would get headaches and migraines from dehydration. Same thing with a lot of actors who play Batman. The suit is so hot and uncomfortable that he said, take that money, shove it up your tuchus. I don't care. I am not coming back and putting on that stupid RoboCop suit again. And, if you're only looking at someone from the mouth down, like with RoboCop, it really doesn't matter. But we did miss Peter Weller for RoboCop 3. But that is why he did not come back. And who did he get replaced with? Kids. Doesn't matter. Some guy, I don't know. Anyway, Peter Weller did not come back for RoboCop. He wasn't fired. A lot of rumors said he was fired from that movie. Not fired, just opted to be replaced because he didn't want to put on that hot, suffocating, goddamn RoboCop suit. Let's move on. Now, this next one was always a mystery to me, man. I'm talking about Predator 2 from 1987. Predator was such a great movie. We all love that movie. A little fun fact, Jean-Claude Van Damme was cast originally as the Predator, and he acted up so much that they fired him, and that's what he wanted. He didn't want to be in that movie anymore. So he got himself fired, and they got another actor. But I was always curious how come Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't come back for the sequel, right? Like, Predator is one of the dopest movies ever. Schwarzenegger does not come back for the sequel, and it all came down to his scene, as I read, was essentially a glorified cameo. He came back, he did some stuff, and he wanted to be the star. Yeah, Schwarzenegger wanted to be the star of the movie. He didn't want to have a cameo in the movie. And so they rewrote the script, and he said, no, I want to be the star of the movie. It's Predator 2. And they said, well, we're kind of trying to build this Predator expanded universe. So you're going to come in, kind of pass the torch to someone else. And he's like, no, Schwarzenegger's the hero. Only I can be the one who killed the Predator. So apparently it came down to $250,000. If they would have offered him $250K more, he would have come back. But they couldn't, find the right amount of money to do it. Schwarzenegger wanted more money. They didn't want to give it to him. So then they offer Schwarzenegger a cameo at the very end. And he said no. He said, no, you take your cameo, you shove it up your tuchus. I don't want to do it. So, but that is why, and I was always curious why, Danny Glover? You get Danny Glover to come back and fight a Predator? It should have been Schwarzenegger, guys. But he wasn't fired, just simply replaced with Danny Glover for the 1987 movie Predator 2. I would have liked to seen him in that movie, but he probably did the right thing. Rave X Podcast number 107, Replaced. We're going to go to number 2 here, man. This is a really interesting story. We're going to go back to 2012 to a small little indie movie you guys might have seen called Marvel's The Avengers. And, before that, they had a Hulk movie, then the Incredible Hulk movie. You had Eric Bana the first time. Then you had Edward Norton. And then we get the other guy for the Avengers movies, And a lot of people wondered, how come Edward Norton wasn't in the Avengers movies? I mean, his movie in 2008 was part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I believe that Thunderbolt Ross or Robert Downey Jr. pops up in that movie, or Sam Jackson pops up in that movie somewhere. But we got no Ed Norton. We got the other guy who I don't like with the shaggy hair. He needs to do something with his hair. Mark Ruffalo, that's the guy. The reason why Ed Norton didn't come back for the Avengers was he was essentially fired. And what a lot of reports said was he was too controlling, wasn't good to work with, kind of a diva. And the thing is, a lot of people think that when you get cast as Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman, that you have some say in that character. And unless you set that up previously, you have no say in that character. Because they cast you as the Incredible Hulk, you can't say, oh, hold on for a minute, cut. How about if I come through that door? And then you're an actor paid to do a job. And apparently Edward Norton was acting like he had some ownership over the Hulk. And he had some ideas of where he wanted the Hulk story to go. And they were like, all right, bro, you can't do that. You can't yell cut in the middle of a scene and change the script and try to rewrite the script. And that's what I read was going on a lot. Like, he would literally rewrite the script and come in and hand people a different sheet of paper. No, it will work better if it goes like this. And finally they said, okay, you know what? We're not going to have that for the Avengers. So he got replaced with Mark Ruffalo. And, I thought Ed Norton was a pretty good Hulk. I'm not a huge fan of the Hulk. I think whatever. I think the Hulk is one of these characters, he's like a character for kids. He turns green and gets big and smashes stuff because, like, I think kids like that. But anyway, Ed Norton's a really good actor. And, came to work every day with a bad attitude. And guess what, my brother? You got fired. Whew. Moving on to number 1. All right, man, this next story is kind of messed up. This guy got done dirty. We're going to go to 2008 to a movie called Iron Man. I'm talking about Terrence Howard. Remember him? Played Rhodey, Iron Man's best bud. Well, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, The Avengers, all that stuff. He got replaced with Don Cheadle. And it was really weird because Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle don't look anything alike. I mean, Don Cheadle is like Wesley Snipes black. And Terrence Howard is what we call a high yellow-looking mother effer, right? He's light-skinned, as they used to say in the projects. Ooh, girl, he light-skinned. It was just amazing to me that people would think that any black guy will do. Like, you wouldn't... If you had to recast, let's say, Tom Hanks, you wouldn't recast him with someone who's like 5 shades darker than him. I don't know. I just thought it was weird that to some casting director, Don Cheadle and Terrence Howard are interchangeable, right? It's like they said, well... We gotta fire one black guy, let's get another black guy. How about Don Cheadle? He looks nothing like the other guy. Don Cheadle will do great. But anyway, the reason that Terrence Howard got fired from this is because he wanted, to get paid a little bit more money, and like I said, every time you do part 1, part 2, part 3, your salary goes up. But Robert Downey Jr., and this is the word on the street, kids, Robert Downey Jr. wanted a ton of money because Iron Man 1 was such a hit. Now, these movies, they only have a budget that's so much. They can't pull money out of their rear, you know what I mean? They have to move money around. So what they did was they offered Terrence Howard less money for the sequel than he would get in the first one. And he's like, oh, come on. Well, what's Robert Downey Jr. getting? And well, he's getting more money. He's like, but I'm getting less money? And I go, well, look, that's the best we can offer you. And he's like, oh, come on, man. Turns out they took money from Terrence Howard's salary to give to Robert Downey Jr. to come back. And Terrence Howard thought that him and RDJ were friends. And when he spoke to him about it, Robert Downey Jr. just acted like he had no idea, like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. He knew, and he did Terrence Howard wrong. And if you ever hear Terrence Howard talk about this, he was really hurt, man, because he really wanted to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they had him set up for sequels where eventually he would become War Machine, you know what I mean? And it's really interesting because there's a scene in the first Avengers movie where he's down in Tony Stark's basement and he sees one of the Iron Man suits, and he looks at it and he actually says, next time, baby, next time. Because he was psyched, the character was going to suit up to become War Machine. But no, because they took money from him to give it to Robert Downey Jr. so that he would come back for the sequels and stuff. Really weird. But what are you going to do? It's Hollywood. It's not called show friends. It's called show business. And you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. Anyway, kids, thanks for tuning in to the RaveX podcast, episode 107, Replaced. That is going to wrap it up for me because I got shit to do, son. Anyway, do me a favor, man. I want you to check out a few things that I just put out. I put out a new song called Scaphism, Volume X, streaming now on YouTube. This is a great song, guys. Honestly, I say without ego, some of my finest work, okay? Also, my band, Choose Your Power, the greatest band you never heard of. We just put out a video for a song called No F You. Check it out. Also streaming chooseyourpower.bandcamp.com or on YouTube. And of course, you can find me, Rock Hard RaveX, at ravexmusic.bandcamp.com. That's right, ravexmusic.bandcamp.com. You can also find me on Facebook. You can hit me up on the Insta. Is that what the cool kids say, the Insta? Hit me up on the Instagram, man. And do me a favor, until next time, kids, thanks for tuning in. Click like, subscribe, and please, remember this. A coward dies 1,000 deaths. A hero, but only one. My name's RaveX. Enjoy yourself!
That was the RaveX podcast. Be sure to click like and subscribe. For podcasts, new music, and all things RaveX, go to youtube.com and search RaveX Music.